Now, you assumed the role as PAL president in July 2019, and by March 2021, we entered into a lockdown. I mean, wala pang isang taon yun, sir. So, did you
March
at any
2020.
point, yeah, so
March
did you at
2020.
any point, mm, so did you at any point consider quitting, or I don't know, just leave peacefully and retire, maybe return in the BPO industry, some other fields, fintech seems good. Maraming there's a lot of buzz there. So did you ever consider just I mean, you don't want parang ayoko na nito.
Uh, Next question.
Now, my next question is harder, sir.
Go ahead.
The actually going into bankruptcy protection, needless to say, PAL PAL officers really made lots of really hard decisions. What do you consider the hardest pill to swallow going into all of this?
And let me make let me uh, add some color to this. If you're drowning, right, your choice is fighting to live or just allowing yourself to die. It's not really a choice, right? Philippine Airlines is an 80-year-old institution. It'll be 81 in March. We weren't about to just die. So yes, it was a hard call to make, but really, um, there wasn't a single point there where we as a team had decided, buti pa mamatay na lang tayo, di ba? O, di
Mm-hmm.
na ko ani kapoy na kayo. Right,
Mm-hmm.
right at the start of the pandemic, what happened? We were asked to fly to Yokohama, to Tokyo, to pick up 1,000 plus Filipino merchant seamen and staff of the Diamond Princess. Nobody wanted to go there to do that. The world was just locking down. The US was sending aircraft to pick up American citizens. And, we as an airline, we're saying we're bankrupt. We have no revenues prospective because government just locked us down. And now the same government that locked us down wants us to go and pick up Filipinos. So ang sabi ko sa officials is, if we get volunteers, we'll go. Right? At this point, nobody knew what the pandemic was going to entail. Nobody knew what COVID. It wasn't even named COVID yet. It was SARS-CoV-2.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, sabi ko, kung walang volunteers, wala na. Daan-daan yung nag-volunteer. So what were we to do? Just say, diba, we will no longer honor your sacrifice. We'll just let Pal die. No, we flew twice to Japan in wide bodies to bring our countrymen home. And we namin sa Clark where they were quarantined. And then we had hundreds more of those flights, right? Kung saan-saang sulok ng mundo may mga Pilipino, sinundo namin. We were paid for every single one of those flights. And if you're a drowning man, anybody who pushes something floating towards you, you will grab onto that. That's what we did.
No, it's 2022, and of course, you're still here leading PAL. So tell us, what will PAL do differently this 2022? What's your outlook for this year? And with the surge due to the Omicron variant, is PAL threatened, or was that already factored into the projections and targets for this year?
No, it's hard to predict uh, variance. So all we can do is be conservative with our estimates, and we had accounted for Omicron with, I believe, adequate conservatism. What's very difficult to predict is what the virus will do, and the second thing that's incredibly difficult to predict, especially in the Philippines, is how our government's going to respond. And not just our government; it's all the LGUs, right? You already see Bacolod and Iloilo reinstating PCR tests. Katiklan doing the same, right? And these are unilateral interzonal restrictions that almost no other country does. I don't think any other country has interzonal restrictions like we did during the pandemic. So those will clearly have an impact. But we survived the first waves and we survived Delta. And from what I can tell about Omicron, it's more mild. So we think we will get through this. To answer your first question, how will PAL, what's PAL doing differently? PAL is learning how to break even and how to make money by taking care of its passengers, by focusing on where demand really is. For example, our cargo business not only did not shrink during the pandemic, it actually grew. It grew from 2019 to 2020 to 2021, and we anticipate it will continue to grow into 2022 because the world has seen how important these transportation services are, and the demand remains high.